Hello everybody, it's Andrew's Weather Predictions here. Today we're going to be talking about the severe weather that's going to be coming up this week and a bit of a winter storm that we have out west. Now let's start it off with our current hazards map here. And anything in this pink color right here, this is going to be a red flag warning. We also have wind advisories in these beige colors, and then we have small craft advisories, and then flood warnings for the rivers, and then we have winter weather advisories over here as we have that winter storm brewing up over here. This is eventually going to spread over here and bring the severe weather potential over the next few days. I have the satellite view on right now, and currently some rain showers and thunderstorms are ongoing over here, maybe a stronger one or two. We also have showers and snow showers in this area across Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, Utah, Nevada. We have an area of storms developing here. These will likely become strong later and strong to severe later. And we also have some ongoing showers and thunderstorms across the northeast. These are temperatures. We see a temperature of 75 in Chicago and a dew point of 51. Here in my current location, it's it's 78 degrees with a dew point of 55, and that dew point is climbing up as we have that warm sector advecting north. Here's your current hazards map for today. Anywhere with these green kind of dotted areas, you're going to see the potential for some thunderstorms today. In that yellow kind of hatched area, you're going to see potential for severe weather. Same deal for tomorrow. If you are in this area, you're going to see some mixed precip and then heavy and fire danger in here. Looks like a pretty interesting severe threat is to evolve in here, and then it's supposed to spread along this warm front there. Day 3, which is Wednesday, is the day that's going to be the most interesting to watch. We're going to have a large area of severe weather potential from south central Minnesota through Iowa, down into Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, and these states in here. Anywhere in that pink region, you're going to have potential for strong storms. In this pink region right here, I think this is where the most major severe weather is going to occur. Fronts map, here's the timing of everything. You see here some thunderstorms start to develop along that cold front late tonight. And then tomorrow night, we start to see some showers and thunderstorms develop. This pushes on off east, and then at this point, we're going to have a line of strong to severe thunderstorms and maybe some supercells ongoing across this cold front here. Now, let's take a look at what the Storm Prediction Center has, and let's just jump in right now. Currently, today, they have a slight risk of severe weather from near Sioux Falls all the way up to near Duluth, and this includes Minneapolis, Bloomington, Plymouth, Brooklyn Park, and Iden Prairie. We also have a marginal risk including areas from south central Nebraska up into the Minnesota area, and this is solely for wind and hail. No tornado threat. Now, I do think there's a small chance for an isolated tornado, but the relative for that is low. Tomorrow, we have a large marginal from areas near Des Moines, southward, down to Fort Smith, Arkansas. There's a slight risk from Kansas City, Missouri, through Wichita. There's a 2% risk of tornadoes in Kansas and Nebraska, along with 15 wind and 15 hail for relatively the same areas. I wouldn't rule out the small chance for a 5% risk, and I wouldn't rule out the small chance for a significant risk for large hail, or actually a large chance of that. Now for day 3. This is the day that's going to be the most major, in my opinion. We do have a large slight risk, including areas in Arkansas, eastern Texas, far eastern Texas and Oklahoma, northern Louisiana, and southwest Tennessee, and then portions of Mississippi. No significant probabilities with probabilistic. Now that marginal risk, I think we're likely going to see that marginal risk be something like this with the new outlook. Okay, something like that. And then you're going to have that slight risk be something like this with the new outlook, probably. And I do think that slight risk will probably be pushed further north as time evolves, but we'll see what happens. Now, I might actually be familiar with this day too, and then there's no day 4-3. Let's jump in with the weather models. We'll start off with the HRRR, the 18Z run. This is going to be valid at 00Z, so I mean valid around right now. Not a forecast gift, but Using the complex reflectivity here, we're going to go zoom into the upper Midwest first. Right around 1Z, we're likely to see some scattered thunderstorms start forming, and some of these could be severe as we go throughout the night. See, around 2Z, we start to see the severe storms fire. Up in Minnesota, whoops. I do end up taking soundings in front of these. We are lacking moisture. That's a large cap. I'm going to have to take the sounding further north. So the soundings have a large cap, and we're lacking moisture content. And that's why wind and hail are the main threats. And it looks like these thunderstorms are going to die relatively quickly. Now here's a look at tomorrow. Here's kind of throughout the day. So 22Z, we're going to see thunderstorms start to bubble up. And then here's that warm front risk. We're going to start to see some strong to severe thunderstorms develop along that warm frontal boundary tomorrow. I'm going to take a sounding south of this storm right here. End up seeing it's a severe sounding for the hazard type. Our main risk with this would be hail. It's likely going to be elevated off the surface, though. At this point, we have a raging area of supercells in northern Wisconsin. Looks like mainly just a hail threat with those, but we have supercells forming in Kansas. Now, this area is relatively capped off, so that's going to be one limiting thing. But still, very interesting. In Iowa, we do see potential for hail and wind gusts there, but nothing tornadic. We do see in further western Wisconsin, I do think, yeah, it looks okay for tornado potential. I do think it's there. Late at night, this is going to be 1Z. We start to see these thunderstorms start to really get up here. There could be a slight tornado risk with this sounding here. This is a bit elevated, and it's got a large cap, but you can see here the cap is already broken. You can just see here, these thunderstorms really just move off to the eastward here. Some of these are going to be strong to severe still at this point. Then, here's 18Z. And looks like there's going to be a band of morning convection that kind of maybe could hinder the Illinois risk. If I do end up stopping this at 18Z, we do have an area of high instability from Wisconsin all the way down further south. Now, some of these areas that don't have any instability, these areas are going to be taken out because they got hit by the morning convection. Further south, boom. We do have an area of infecting instability. This is only 18Z, so this is only 1 p.m. We are still getting a lot of heating at this point. I do end up looking at your composite index here at 1Z. Highest values are over Arkansas, Louisiana, and Missouri. Looking at the capping inversion here, there is a decent amount of capping inversion at this point. I'm just looking at the convection here. You start to see there's stuff bubbling. Now let's take over with the NAM nest here. And we're going to take a step down in resolution every single time we hit one of these models, but boom. Here's right around peak heating. It's going to be right around when these storms are really going to start kicking off. We see a couple bands of them. If I do end up taking some soundings along the Mississippi River Delta there, western Tennessee. Let me take it actually further down the line there in Mississippi. We do see a favorable sounding for tornado activity. Looking pretty interesting. If I take soundings in front of this developing convection in southern Arkansas, that's a concerning photograph there. One limiting factor with the setup, and there's really only one, is the 3 cape and the lower level lapse rates. Other than that, there's a lot. It's a lot of qualities. Large hodo, decent amount of instability. Not too skinny of a cape profile, but it is skinny, pretty skinny. Varying in the lower levels. This is going to create tornadoes, and I do think there's potential for a couple strong tornadoes as well. And I do think the more likely tornado risk that the SBC is going to go with is 10% non-sig for now. And then they'll probably end up pulling the 10 sig day one or with the secondary day two outlink once they get enough confidence in it. Further north, though, we're likely to see many bands of thunderstorms here. Some of these are going to be torn, some of these are going to be severe, and I do think there is going to be a small tornado threat in this area. We have a lot of streamwise vorticity, they have high lapse rates for hail, and some instability. More larger K profile, a lot more drier air. I do think this is going to be more of a. I do think there's going to be a wind and hail risk over here, and we do see some supercells start to fire up right here along the Mississippi River Delta. Boom. That's a very favorable sounding for tornadoes, wind, hail, you name it. I do think they're probably going to go 30% wind and probably SIG it as well. Kind of just bouncing off my thoughts. That's another sounding here. A little bit more dry air on the lower levels, which is a more contributor. I'll take one in north central Mississippi here, and then we'll look at the parameters here. Very favorable, holy. Let's go back now. So let's just look at the Cape here. So the Cape at this point, this isn't quite the heating of the day. Let's look at 21Z here. Actually, yeah, that's probably a good time. So we have widespread 1,000 Cape throughout the warm sector with areas of 2,000 perking up. Storm relative velocity is widespread 200 to 400 to maybe even close to 500. And as you go throughout the night here, that SRH is going to increase. Boom. I'm going to take a box sounding. And what this is the mean sounding for the environment. And the mean sounding is basically the median of every single ingredient. So let's take let's take a box sounding for this area right here. Okay, this box sounding right here shows surface-based thunderstorms, lower level veering, a large hodograph with 300 storm relative velocity, decent lapse rates except the ones at the surface, and then we do have a 900 surface-based Cape, which is decent for a box sounding. And again, this box sounding is for eastern Missouri, southern Illinois, western Kentucky, western Tennessee, northern Mississippi, and eastern Arkansas. Now let's take a look at what the NAM is showing. And actually, we're gonna finish off the reflectivity here. Why not? Oh, actually at 0Z, it looks like the secondary line up here in Missouri is starting to pop off. We'll just take one sounding up there. And yeah, this is going to be a big tornado risk. Very big, but not very big. I'll be exaggerating a little bit there, but a big tornado risk at that point. 1Z, we start to see, yup, that the line still continues off to the east. Likely going to be linear at this point. Then I get on the action here. It looks like I'm getting a supercell maybe, or something in there. Let me just take a sounding from over my area for the heck of it. Yeah, that might actually be a supercell. Very favorable tornado sounding. I will say that's not bad. I'll take it. And this is likely going to be my first severe weather setup of the season, so that's going to be fun for me. As I am very excited for that. But yeah, you can see here throughout the night, this squall line really takes shape. I think this is probably going to be a contaminated sounding, but I'm just going to take it right in front of the line there. Oh wow, lots of instability. Not a lot of instability, but enough at this point. This is overnight. See here, thunderstorms are really starting to kick up here. We'll probably see a small tornado risk with that, but it's just gonna continue on there. And that's the last frame of the NAM nest. So let's go take a look at the GEFS. We're just gonna take a look at that supercell composite. We're gonna take a look at mean supercell composite like we normally do. So this is going to be for this evening. We have mean of 3 to 4 across Minnesota, Wisconsin area. This is for tomorrow, and this is pretty rare to get a mean supercell composite of 9. So it looks like we're expecting something pretty interesting across this area here. Now the only problem is this is a bit capped off, but I do think we'll probably get a few supercells after dark, which is going to be very interesting. Here's Wednesday. So this is what they have the most confidence in. Arkansas, Mississippi, or Louisiana and Texas. Sorry, I mixed that up. And then let's look at the weather bell here. We're just going to look at the instantaneous flash right here to kind of wrap us up. Let's see here. Here's this afternoon. An intense area of severe storms is likely to fire. with some significant hail risk. Tomorrow, boom, supercells from Nebraska into Oklahoma potentially, and then a squall line after dark. Wednesday, large area of supercells and linear segments, and then Thursday there is a small severe risk over Georgia, Alabama, and Florida, and maybe even Texas. Friday, again, probably a Dixie out area. Then looking pretty active for Dixie in the south over this Euro run here. Look at the K index throughout the run here. Perks up there, perks up there, perks up there, gets high again. Sorry for your clicking noises, that's just my mouse, but yeah, looking very interesting. That is going to do it though. If you would, want to like and subscribe, that would be amazing. I really appreciate that. I will see you guys in the next one.